I was broke. Like ramen for breakfast, count the coins for bus fare broke. So when I saw the ad, I almost didn't believe it. Night custodian wanted, no experience necessary, generous compensation. The pay they listed was more than I made in a month at my dead-end retail job. The catch? The location was just a set of coordinates, miles out of town, leading to a place that didn't show up on any map. My friends told me it was a scam, or worse. But desperation is a powerful motivator, so I filled up my rusty old car with what little gas I could afford and drove into the unknown. The building was a brutalist concrete monolith that seemed to absorb the moonlight. No signs, no windows, just a single heavy steel door. A man in a simple grey uniform met me. He didn't ask for my name, just handed me a keycard and a jumpsuit. He said my job was simple: clean the designated areas, don't ask questions, and never, ever try to open a door that isn't on my route. The pay was real, cash handed to me at the start of each shift. I took it, no questions asked. My first few nights were bizarrely normal. I mopped endless white hallways, cleaned pristine, empty offices, and emptied trash cans that never seemed to have anything in them. The silence was the strangest part. It was a deep, profound quiet that felt heavier than just an absence of noise. The only sound was the squeak of my shoes and the hum of the fluorescent lights. The map they gave me was a simple loop of corridors and rooms. Section A, easy enough. But on my fourth night, something changed. I turned a corner I'd turned a dozen times before, and the hallway was different. It stretched on, longer than it should have, and at the end was a door marked with a symbol I didn't recognize, not a letter or a number. It wasn't on my map. My supervisor's warning echoed in my head, but curiosity, that dangerous old friend, got the better of me. My keycard surprisingly beeped green. The room inside defied logic. It was a forest, not a picture, not a hologram, but a real, living forest under an artificial sky full of constellations I'd never seen. The air smelled of damp earth and pine. I saw a man sitting on a log, sketching in a notebook. He looked up, and his face was oddly familiar. He smiled a sad, gentle smile. "Lost, are we?" he asked. I mumbled something about being the janitor. He nodded. "Ah, the new one. Don't worry. You get used to the strangeness." He introduced himself as Elias, a painter. He said he'd been here for, in his words, a while. I asked him how he got a whole forest in here. He just chuckled and went back to his drawing. The next night, I found another door. This one opened into a bustling 1920s jazz club. The music was infectious. People in flapper dresses and sharp suits were laughing and dancing, and a woman on stage was singing a soulful, heartbreaking melody. The strange thing was, every single person there ignored me completely, as if I were a ghost. I walked right through the middle of the dance floor, and not one person even flinched or moved out of the way. It was like I was on a different plane of existence. The air was thick with the smell of old perfume and spilled gin. It was exhilarating and terrifying. When my shift ended, I walked out and the door vanished, leaving only a blank concrete wall. I started actively searching for these hidden doors. My route became a treasure hunt. I found a library where the books wrote themselves, their pages filling with glowing script as I watched. I found a room that was just an endless, calm ocean under a perpetually setting sun. And in these impossible places, I found people. A young woman in the library told me she was Amelia Earhart. She was trying to map the new stars she saw from her cockpit before she arrived. It slowly dawned on me. I looked up Elias, the painter from the forest. He was a moderately famous landscape artist who had been declared dead, lost in a hiking accident in 1998. Amelia Earhart, Bix Beiderbecke. They were all people who had died or vanished, years, even decades ago. I wasn't cleaning a facility. I was the janitor for some kind of afterlife, or a waiting room, or something far stranger. In one night, I got bold. I asked Elias straight up, "Are you dead?" He looked up from his canvas, his eyes holding no surprise, only a deep, weary acceptance. Dead? I don't know. I was on a mountain and then I was here. Time doesn't really work the same in this place. Is the sun still yellow out there? His question hit me harder than any admission of death could have. He wasn't a ghost. He was just a person, displaced. He missed the color of the sun. These people weren't spirits haunting a building. They were residents. The jazz club wasn't a memory. It was their home. The forest wasn't a simulation. It was Elias's eternal, peaceful studio. This place, whatever it was, gave them a space to continue being themselves, frozen at the moment they left the world. They weren't trapped. They were preserved. My job suddenly made sense. I wasn't just cleaning floors. I was maintaining their reality. I was the stagehand for the biggest, strangest play in existence, keeping the lights on, the halls clean, ensuring their personal heavens and hells and limbos remained undisturbed. The silence of the main hallways was the buffer between their worlds. The fear I initially felt was replaced by a sense of profound responsibility and an even more profound loneliness. I was the only one who could walk between these worlds, the only living soul in a building full of the departed. I would talk to Amelia about flying, listen to Bix's stories about Louis Armstrong, and watch Elias paint sunsets he could only remember. Then, at the end of my shift, I'd step back into my world, the cash in my pocket feeling heavier than ever. I never told anyone the truth. How could I? I'm the night custodian at the facility that doesn't exist, cleaning rooms that can't be real, for people who are supposed to be gone. The pay is great, sure, but the real compensation is the secret, the knowledge that when our stories end, maybe there's another room waiting, with a door that only we can open. And maybe, just maybe, there's a janitor there to make sure the lights stay on for us. Thanks for watching.